And we say hello to Clément Bonnereau. Latest poll numbers just out. I saw 59% according to IFOP for Emmanuel Macron, 41% for Marine Le Pen ahead of next Sunday's runoff of the presidential election. Both candidates with rallies in the Paris area. Let's start with Emmanuel Macron, who's still speaking.
Absolutely, that's right. And the stakes are high for Emmanuel Macron. He's been accused of acting like he's already won round two, and he has come under attack from Marine Le Pen for being too out of touch and too elitist. But the centrist candidate is hitting back. He's urged French people to unite and block the National Front on May the 7th. Let's take a listen.
On the 7th of May, it will be time to make a choice between Mrs. Le Pen, who is the heir. No, do not boo her. Fight her, convince people, make people vote, and make her lose next Sunday.
And our reporter Claire Williams is at Macron's rally. She tells us more about his strategy to win over undecided voters.
Unsurprisingly, Emmanuel Macron has been making some big attacks against his rival Marine Le Pen. Some quite strong words have been coming out of his mouth, not the kind of words we're used to hearing. He said that the far right in France was full of hatred and that it was cowardly and that Marine Le Pen was capitalising on the frustration and the anger amongst French people. As you can see, his speech is going down pretty well with the crowd here in Paris. He also had a message for people considering abstaining on Sunday. There was actually a rally in Paris today, people protesting against both candidates. And he said, look, it's just the way democracy works here in France. Two candidates get through to the second round, and we're now going to fight it out. And what he said to people in the room here today is, go and convince your friends and family to vote on Sunday, and of course, vote for me.
That was Claire Williams reporting from Villepinte in northeastern Paris.
And earlier in the day, Emmanuel Macron with a nod to the roots of the far right.
That's right. He paid tribute to Brahim Bouaram, a young Moroccan who died in 1995 after being pushed into the River Seine by National Front activists. He's become a symbol for anti-racist campaigners. Macron took the opportunity to swing out at his rival and her supposedly whitewashed party. Let's take a listen.
Many have gotten used to the National Front. I haven't. Did you hear what the far-right party said about the Veldiv roundup a few weeks ago? The roots are there. They run deep. The same causes lead to the same effects. I personally will never forget, and I will fight until the very last second against Marine Le Pen's project and against her idea of democracy and of the Republic, which I do not share.
Now, over the years, Clément, the National Front has, tried to counter the big May Day rallies that we see on May the 1st with what they call the Feast of Joan of Arc, where they all gather together. Marine Le Pen no longer attends. Since 2015 was the last time she went to one. Her father still does, and there was a sense that it really was the end of an era today.
That's right. Well, traditionally, leaders of the National Front Party hold a wreath-laying ceremony in front of a statue of Joan of Arc in central Paris, this to celebrate France's independence and unity. But for the past 2 years, as you said, Francois, this event has been marked by growing divisions in the party. This year, neither Marine Le Pen nor the party's newly appointed leader, Steve Briouat, attended the ceremony. Marine Le Pen's father, Jean-Marie, who was excluded from the party in 2015, gave a speech there surrounded by only a few dozen supporters, while his daughter was holding a rally in Villepinte, a working-class suburb north of Paris. It was her first major rally before Sunday's crucial vote, and she spent much of her speech criticising her centrist rival Emmanuel Macron, as Pierre Delrieux now reports.
One last campaign meeting before the second round, one last chance to rally up her supporters. For nearly an hour, Marine Le Pen called upon voters from all political sides to join her.
Patriots from different political traditions can finally unite with the aim of defending our country and our civilization. We now represent the great patriotic and Republican alliance.
Strategically opting to tackle topics such as finance, jobs, and ecology, the nationalist far-right presidential candidate hopes to convince undecided voters from the far left, building her argument against a common foe, her opponent, Emmanuel Macron.
Today, the enemy of the French people is still the world of finance. But this time, he has a name, he has a party, and he's running for president. And they all want to see him win. His name is Emmanuel Macron.
Following the rally, many attendees can already see Marine Le Pen victorious.
We know it. We're going to win. She has shown herself stronger than ever, and we are determined to follow her to the end.
You can't judge a person by her political party. Because it's true, her father was very extreme. But Marine Le Pen is different. She speaks to all the French people.
A change of image that seems to have worked in the National Front candidate's favor. Marine Le Pen will now have one last chance to convince voters on Wednesday when she faces centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron in a televised debate, just a few days before electors head to the polls.
Yeah, so dueling rallies this Monday in Paris from Macron and Le Pen. And you could say a competition, perhaps not for votes, but for members among unions which are split when it comes to this French presidential election. We'll be talking about it later in the France 24 debate in the next hour. Clément Bonnereau, that split really shows the dilemma of rank and file.
Absolutely. Well, unions held two different marches across the French capital today. They're divided over which candidate to support in this Sunday's vote. Now, that might be because workers themselves are divided. According to polls, over a third of working-class voters backed Marine Le Pen in the first round of the election. Many are drawn to her criticism of globalization and free trade, while Macron, on the other hand, is calling for deeper European integration and increased flexibility in the economy. Laurent Bersteker takes a look at the two candidates' economic programs and their proposals to reduce unemployment.
She sees globalization as the enemy. For him, it's the way forward. Marine Le Pen and Emmanuel Macron, two candidates whose economic programs are fundamentally opposed. To make French businesses more competitive, Emmanuel Macron wants to modernize industry, lower taxes for companies, and reform the labor code to make it easier to hire and fire workers. The former economy minister also proposes additional measures to reduce unemployment. These include a 15 billion euro investment in professional training programs, a 15,000 euro bonus each time a company hires in underprivileged areas, and introducing universal unemployment benefits. For Marine Le Pen, reducing unemployment means protecting the French economy against what she calls savage globalization. The far-right candidate wants to introduce a national preference for hires, extra taxes on foreign workers, and give French companies priority on public contracts. Marine Le Pen has also pledged to reduce taxes for small and medium businesses, to make professional training available at the age of 14, and to lower the retirement age to 60. Many of these measures hinge on Le Pen's plan to leave the euro and return to a national currency, a move leading economists say could have disastrous consequences on the French economy. In terms of feasibility, French think tank Fondation Concorde says Macron lacks an estimated 52 billion euros to finance his program, while Le Pen would need an additional 159 billion to implement her reforms.
Again, we'll be talking about it in the next hour. Laurent Bersteker with that report. Clément Bonnereau, many thanks for that. By the way, Campaign Beat, you can find it on our website and also on YouTube.